Generative AI in the classroom, I mean, you hear about it everywhere, right? Is it this incredible game-changing tool for teachers? Or is it something we should be, well, genuinely worried about? Today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to look at how this tech is actually starting to reshape education. So let's just dive right in. And really, this is the question on everyone's mind, isn't it? Is generative AI a threat, or is it a tool? Is it going to wreck academic integrity, or could it actually unlock brand new ways of learning? The truth, as it so often is, isn't some simple yes or no. It really comes down to how we decide to use it.
I love this quote because it just gets right to the heart of it. This idea that AI isn't some strange alien thing that's landed in our lives. It's a mirror machine. Think about that. It just reflects what we put into it. All our data, the questions we ask, our hidden biases, our goals. So when we look at AI, what we're really seeing is ourselves.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to tackle this in 6 quick parts. We'll start with that mirror idea. Then we'll jump into something called multimodal learning. After that, we'll define what GenAI's real role is, uncover some hidden costs you might not know about, see it in action in the classroom, and then wrap up by looking at what the human-AI partnership should look like going forward. So first things first, we have to find what we're calling the middle way. Look, you've got two camps, right? The techno-utopians who think AI will solve everything, and the doomsayers who think it's the end of the world. We're not doing either of those. This is all about being pragmatic, being critical, and just dealing with a technology that, let's be honest, is already here to stay. Okay, now to really get what's happening with AI, we need to talk about a super important concept: multimodal learning. Because let's face it, learning today isn't just about reading a textbook, right? It's a whole mix of different media. And generative AI is hitting the accelerator on that big time. So what is multimodal learning? Well, at its core, it's all about synergy. It's this simple but powerful idea that when you combine different ways of communicating, like putting text and images together in an infographic, you create this meaning that's way deeper and richer than if you just had the words or just the picture by itself. And these modes aren't some fancy academic term. They're just the stuff we use every single day. We're talking text, yeah, but also images, sound, video clips, even things like interactive simulations. It's the whole shebang, the full spectrum of how we talk to each other and figure out the world around us. All right, section 3, let's get really clear on what generative AI is, and maybe more importantly, what it isn't. Because honestly, one of the biggest problems right now is just sorting through all the confusion and misconceptions that are floating around out there. And this is probably the biggest mix-up people make. Think about it. A search engine, like Google, is a librarian. Its job is to find existing information and point you to accurate, authoritative sources. GenAI, on the other hand, is more like an improv artist. It creates brand new stuff based on patterns it's seen, and its only goal is to be relevant to your prompt. That makes it an amazing creative tool, but a really, really bad fact checker. Which leads us to this fantastic way of thinking about it. GenAI is your creative co-pilot. It's not the chauffeur. You wouldn't just hand the keys of your car to a chauffeur, close your eyes, and hope you end up at the right place, right? No. A co-pilot assists, gives suggestions, helps navigate, but you are still the pilot. You're the one in charge, flying the plane. And if you're gonna fly with a co-pilot, you'd better read the user manual, right? Because using this amazing tool isn't free. It comes with some pretty big trade-offs, and a lot of these costs are kind of hidden. They're not obvious right away. These hidden costs basically fall into 4 big buckets. First, the cost to the individual. And for educators, this is huge. We gotta ask, who can even afford the best tools? What's happening with all that student data being collected? This is a massive equity issue. Then there's the environment. These AI models are hungry for energy. Creating a single image can use a surprising amount of power, and we just can't ignore that. Third is the cost to knowledge itself. I mean, if we just start outsourcing our thinking to AI, what happens to our own brains, our ability to think critically? It's a real risk. And finally, the cost to future jobs. We need to be honest with our students and prepare them for a world where a lot of those entry-level jobs they might have been aiming for might not be there anymore. Okay, so we've talked about the risks, the hidden costs, that's the heavy stuff. But with all that in mind, how can we actually put these tools to work in a smart, responsible way? Let's look at a really cool real-world example. So here's a challenge every teacher knows well: academic integrity. How in the world do you make that topic interesting? It's so abstract and, let's be real, kind of boring for students. It's just hard for them to connect with it. Check out this solution. A project called Choices at the Coffee Shop. Use GenAI to build a gamified, choose-your-own adventure experience. Brilliant, right? It lets students walk through these tricky real-world scenarios and see the consequences of their decisions, all in a totally safe space. And get this, the results were incredible. 96% of the students said they had a better understanding of plagiarism afterward. That's a huge win.
And that awesome case study leads us perfectly into our final, and honestly our most important section. What does this all mean for the future? What does a good, productive, ethical partnership between people and AI actually look like?
And here we are, back to that central metaphor. It's all about the co-pilot, not the chauffeur. We want a relationship where the human is always, always in the driver's seat, or, well, the pilot's seat. We make the critical judgments, we set the destination, and we use AI as a powerful tool to help us get there. It's an assistant, not a replacement for our own brain. This table really breaks down that ideal partnership. It's about playing to our strengths. We bring the uniquely human stuff, ethical judgment, real creativity, understanding context, and we combine that with what AI is amazing at, spotting patterns across millions of data points or iterating through thousands of ideas in seconds. It's the best of both worlds. So if you take away one thing, let it be this. The goal here is not substitution, it's collaboration. And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. If AI is the co-pilot, who's charting the course? The answer is we. That most important job is still squarely in our hands. It's up to all of us, the teachers, the students, everyone, to be the ones deciding where we're going.